of course, is the beginning of the tune No Reply by the Beatles. And this is an introductory to very basic analysis of popular music. This is the first in a series of videos that will cover this topic. I'm hoping to keep them all short so that there's a cumulative effect here. And the first thing to ask is, why should we bother with analysis at all? In some ways, I'm hoping that's a fairly straightforward answer that you already have in mind when I ask that relatively silly question. Of course, you can always just listen to something and just enjoy it for whatever it is, but enjoying something for what it is, part of what we do in enjoying something is to get to know it better. Right? I could say, I enjoy Kathy for what she is. But if I don't know anything about her, what am I enjoying exactly? What is it that I'm enjoying about my knowledge of her? I could say the same thing about anything. I don't know what any Shakespeare sonnets mean. I enjoy them for what they are, a conglomeration of words. The point is, I will have a different kind of enjoyment. It's not the only kind of enjoyment, and certainly analysis is not the only way to enjoy popular music. In fact, in some ways, it's a rather rarefied way of enjoying popular music. But then again, it's another way, and perhaps a deeper way, or one of the deeper ways of coming to know it. So then the next aspect of this is to say, why approach analysis in the way that you, Professor Jenkins, are suggesting that we approach it. And the way that I'm suggesting is, of course, a kind of reductive analysis, what's sometimes called Schenkerian analysis, but really it's just a matter of reduction. And the suggestion here is that there is something deeper going on in a passage that is in some ways simpler, that reduces the passage, hence reductive analysis, that reduces the passage to something relatively simple, and yet that simplicity is what allows the more ornate, more interesting melodic and harmonic relationships to operate. They make sense, in other words. The complexity, even if it's only relative complexity, even if it's still relatively simple, the complexity of the surface makes sense to you, and you can follow what's going on because there is an underlying simpler logic that holds it all together. This isn't rocket science here. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Let's take a look at the example we were just talking about. You have this melody. Right? And then that repeats. Now, harmonically, this is a very simple passage. We're just moving from the 4 chord, which in this case is the chord F, to the 5 chord, which is G, to the C chord, which is the 1 chord, right? So 4, 5, 1, F, G, C. In other words, this is a cadence. Now, notice that what this song, one of the things that's interesting about the song, is it starts in the middle of things, in essence, right? Because usually a song, most songs, not just popular music, most music starts in tonic and ends in tonic, right? Starts with the 1 and ends in 1. This song starts with 4 and moves its way through 5 to 1, right? So this is what's called an off-tonic opening to a song. And it gives you the sense that you're already in the middle of things, right? In other words, when the narrator of this song starts talking, remember, he's kind of spying on his girl that he thinks is stepping out on him, and it's somewhat mysterious whether or not she's even really his girl. So we're caught up in the middle of everything here, right? And so therefore the music kind of cues us into that in the sense that we're starting in the middle of what might be a larger progression. A more typical progression might be to start with 1 and then go to 4 and then 5 and then back to 1. But this one starts at 4. It starts in the middle, right? In media res, in the middle of things. Now, I can winnow all this down. What's basically happening in this progression is just this. And then the first time, it goes down to that G, and then the second time. So in other words, it's simple 2-part counterpoint. The bass 2 times is going F, G, C, and the melody is a perfect tenth above that at first, A, B. You're waiting for that arrival at C, but instead he gives us, right, he really comes back down. So we get, And then the second time, right, to get us to that C. So in other words, to simplify what's happening here, we have, which is really just getting us to, and then, right, so we're expecting, they touch on that C, but we don't stay on that C. We come back down to the G. So in other words, you have this sense in which I'm pushing up, right, more and more urgency, and then I'm kind of deflating. And then the second time, pushing up, and I actually arrive, right? So, in other words, pretty simple counterpoint reductive analysis. We're going to go deeper next time.